The Triple B Podcast would like to invite you to come break bread with your brothers. If you like what you're hearing on the show, if you think we missed the mark, or if we got it all wrong, reach out to us on social media. We can be reached on Twitter at triple_B_pod or search Brothers Breaking Bread Podcast. We are the Brothers Breaking Bread on Facebook, and our email is brothersbreakingbreadpod@gmail.com. Further descriptions are in the show notes. Like, follow, friend, do all that good stuff. And please never forget to break bread with your brothers.
So, what are we doing? What are we doing?
My vision is we got the video. Mm-hmm. We make an introduction saying, "Hey, it's a slow week." Do our little intros, all that type of stuff like we do.
Yeah.
Slow week. We ain't want to talk about this bullshit. We ain't want to talk about that bullshit. So here's something we had thought about doing. We're bringing it back. Be forthright. We ain't put a whole lot of planning into it, but we're just gonna listen to it like we're gonna have a listening, and then as we listen, it's like a fucking book study. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna pause here and there after a chapter and decide how we feel about it and how it if there are any connections to the modern day world. 38 years later.
Mm. We were going to discuss, I don't know if you remember this Farrakhan interview on Donahue that we talked about a little bit ago, 10. But we were going to dig into that a little bit on the front end after we do our check-ins and if there's some time. Lady Lavender brought up a good point as far as like tying it into current events today. Me and Joe mentioned Florida, what's going on down there with education, Harvard, this affirmative action strike down is happening, and then just I keep saying Black history, but just the way history is being misrepresented, misconstrued, and
critical
just,
race theory.
Yeah, critical race theory.
I would just say listen to it, and whenever it strikes a chord,
okay. All right. Just saying, but also try to, strike a chord and as you listen, with the idea of things better, things changing, status quo remain the same, and was Minister Farrakhan on to something with this interview.
Okay.
So, yeah. All right. Okay.
How y'all doing? We out here, chilling in the spot. What up? How y'all doing? Spot. What up? We out here, chilling in the spot. How y'all doing? We out here, chilling in the spot. What up?
Hey, what's going on, y'all? Brothers Breaking Bread Podcast in the house. Hey.
We'll have a little pop up. It'll be good.
Yeah, let's make it happen. Let's not just talk about it.
This is a beautiful thing, man. It's all this blackness, and we all just getting together, we playing dominoes, we eating, we drinking.
Food is always just the extra, man.
They deprive these people of their basic human rights, and we call ourselves Americans. We're supposed to be above all this.
They'll fake the crisis, they'll make it seem way out of proportion.
We brothers, we breaking bread.
How y'all doing? We out here, chilling in the spot. What up?
Trying to hold it all together, man. Life is moving fast right now, man. So it's good to have everybody come through.
I love that, man. I love it a lot more than I could say to you guys.
Hi, I'm glad you waited. Mr. Farrakhan on the line. Hello.
Hello. I want to know why you, a bleeding heart liberal like you, gives an open forum to an anti-Semit bigot like this man, who should be stifled and hung, not given time on the air by somebody like you who's supposed to be a bleeding heart liberal.
Yeah, me?
Yes, you're supposed to be a bleeding heart liberal. You
Yeah.
give an anti-Semit like that airtime,
Right.
so that he can have a platform to speak from?
Yeah. What will happen as a result of my inviting Mr.
What will happen?
Mm-hmm.
You have infuriated a race of people. You have given an open forum to a bigot.
And he shouldn't be allowed on media.
No, I'm not saying stifle all people. Stifle Hitlers that are kept forums, and that's you have thousands of
don't you
people going
think-
to crematoriums.
Yeah, but isn't it useful to know?
We know. We've seen him.
do know.
We've
Oh.
heard him. We've
All right.
heard his.
How
we've
did
heard
you
his-
know? How do you know?
How do you know? Listen to the man.
Well,
He's
but you
an
wouldn't be able to if I
anti-Semite.
followed your
He's also
instructions.
killing
That's the
people.
point. I don't feel real comfortable engaging this woman in a verbal joust because I appreciate her feeling. You know, this skirting with dirty religion, gutter religion, hurts deeply, deeply the people who lost loved ones at the hand of using words like Grayton and trying to explain it. You must have some pang of conscience for inflicting that kind of emotional pain on the people who felt the Holocaust.
I wonder, Mr. Donahue, what pangs of conscience do white people feel for inflicting the atrocities on black people that have been inflicted on us ever since our fathers were brought into
These
this
people
country?
are saying...
Welcome to the Trauma Olympics.
Hey, it's just instead of a torch, it's just a big cross. We running.
I don't know. The torch might be more appropriate. Nigga.
That is, you right.
Torch and a pitchfork.
Nigga, the pitchfork. Hey, dog, the way these niggas moan, it's but like we talked about on the show before. It's like you got all this passion for this shit that happened off this soil, but as soon as it's the bloodshed.
Well, fuck that shit. This is 85. There were motherfuckers whose grandparents were still, you know what I'm saying?
Well, no, but I'm saying
being in this.
I hear what you're saying. I'm saying the atrocities took place off of U.S. soil, but as soon as you step, I get those people are here and probably some are still alive. I get that. I was just saying those things took place off of U.S. soil. The U.S. sent people to end that shit, but the same shit that happened here. Motherfuckers boo-hoo, bemoan, and now we gotta take it out of the motherfucking history books all of a sudden.
Nah, I mean, I think this is the appropriate assertion of the racial Olympics.
Yes.
Let's remember that we had a Holocaust too. And that is exactly what, talking about modern times, they trying to take this shit out the fucking conversation.
Trying to take it out the conversation. And it's like you said, they had people in the Holocaust. I mean, we ain't too many generations removed from motherfuckers picking that cotton for free.
Mm-hmm.
We ain't too many generations removed from people like me, Joe, and 10 can't even be on the same side of the street with a white woman.
Yeah, it was like fucking one generation removed.
Exactly.
Yeah, one generation.
So it's like
for us, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
It's like all this. It's like damn. I feel for my Jewish brothers and sisters, but it's like damn, we got fucked up too, bruh. All right.
These white people are saying not guilty.
She's calling me a bigot and a racist and an anti-Semite. Are Arabs Semitic people?
Here comes the
Arabs Semitic people. And if Arabs are Semitic people,
so what?
And I am supposedly pro-Arab, how can I then be anti-Semitic?
How about anti-Jewish?
Are Jews the only Semitic people?
What's your point?
That's a racist statement.
Hey, he almost said nigga please. I'm sorry.
That's the same question that Kyrie was raising.
Yeah.
What's the definition of a Semite? And so that is a descendant of Shem. And so I mean, you look at the people of, if you look at the areas where the Shemites lived, they lived in a place where Arab-looking people lived. So to think that they are looking like the white folks that inhabit, Israel right now, I think it just raises questions. Raises questions.
Oh yeah.
So.
For me to be accused of being anti-Semitic,
how would you feel about?
How
do you feel about the accusation that you are anti-Jewish?
I am not anti-Jewish. What would make me anti-Jewish? There are 800,000 Jews who do not agree that the state of Israel is the fulfillment of divine prophecy.
And there are several.
Are they anti-Semitic?
And there are several 100,000 Muslims who do not believe you are in any way a spokesman for the Nation of Islam.
But that's
now
fine.
what? Now what?
That's fine.
Why isn't it fine? Are you?
But not a spokesperson for the Nation of Islam versus not being a Muslim. That would be the difference, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's playing camp.
Yeah, okay. I'm about to say this is.
He on the fly point, playing to the audience.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah, but like, I was like, that nigga, it ain't even fruit that you fucking trying to. It ain't even apples and oranges no more, nigga. You try celery and motherfucking potatoes, nigga. I don't know what's happening over here, bro.
Celery and potatoes.
All right. He was on. No, Donahue was on the ropes on that one, nigga. My bad, Lady Lavender. You were saying something. I'm sorry.
No, I was trying to understand what his thing had to do with what Farrakhan said.
Yeah. Okay.
Same as you.
Okay. Yeah. We all
Saying that Jews will not be acceptable to you until they all march like wooden soldiers, agreeing in.
I didn't say that.
It sounds like
I did not say that. I said 800,000 Jews agree with my position. Are they anti-Semitic?
All right. Okay. Hang on a moment. Yes, ma'am.
I just have to say that maybe Hitler did some good things, but all one has to do, in your opinion, he may have been great. In my opinion, I'm not Jewish, but I have had the opportunity, and I say opportunity, to go to a concentration camp, and tears just flow. I don't care what religion you are. It is so sad.
A note I had, but she went to a plantation where she remarked how beautiful it was.
I had that
She'd have
conversation
her wedding there
too.
and her engagement party, and then take a bunch of pictures in front of the plantation.
Exactly.
Boris.
I had that conversation this week. I had a former student. I probably mentioned her on the show before. Latina. I don't know. She claims Native American roots. She recently came back from one of these assimilation schools that Native Americans were, where she was, doing some archaeology and trying to find these bodies that have been lost on their campuses.
Yeah.
And I was saying, she's got some children who are half black, and she wants to take them places to kind of, let them know about both sides of their heritage. And I'm like, I took some time on the plantation that Booker T. Washington grew up on, and found a cemetery off in the woods somewhere. That is some sombering, sobering, like, experience to just kind of sit there and be in the space where all that transpired. So I mean, I don't know. Something else that happened this week. She's talking about being in being at a concentration camp. I saw a cremation for the first time this week. That was interesting.
Oh.
Yeah. We were at a funeral home, and that's a gruesome experience.
Yeah, that fire don't play.
No, it's getting like 1900 degrees. I was like, that is so wild.
Yeah,
bro.
That is not the barbecue grill, nigga. That is not your daddy's smoking.
Not at all.
It was designed to turn everything to ash. So
by the end, it looked like firewood. Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Yes, sir.
Anyway, so carry on.
The injustices that were done.
I agree with you, miss.
Okay.
That human suffering is sad no matter who is suffering. We don't control NBC, ABC, and CBS, so our story, the story of the Black Holocaust, has never really been told. Roots did a fairly decent job of trying to tell our story. But if we told our story, like Jews have been able to tell their story, a brass monkey would shed tears over what blacks have suffered in this country.
Mr. Farrakhan, if I understood you correctly.
What did she say? Farrakhan?
Nigga.
I don't know. but what I was going to say is that I think that is a major change that has happened since '85. I think black people have gotten their story out. Mm-hmm. I think that was not maybe something, like you said, Roots was probably the best example of having the ability to tell our story about the Holocaust that happened to us. I think we've had a much bigger opportunity to do that since then. I saw that Netflix is disproportionately black programming, just because we have been vocal and saying, "Hey, we need our shit on there." You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so I think that's improvement. That's. I don't know that, like, a lot of stuff we listened to or talked about so far, I don't know how much change we have seen. I think that is one area that we can claim victory, that we have been much better in controlling our narrative than we were back in '85.
And I think, like you mentioned Netflix, but Netflix, Amazon, all that, the greater ease which to get our stories out, which then can be controlled by us and not have to be pushed through a major film house, ain't got to get big market approval so we can go to AMC or some shit like that. So definitely streaming, and then also as the technology. Look at here, we're doing a podcast. Some of us might be on our phones, computer, and internet. That's it. You know what I'm saying? We ain't nobody here got to have no high tech knowledge of how to work a ham radio or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, that definitely plays a part in it. But then the other part of it, because we kind of talked about it, talking about how this shit relates to this Florida shit. It's like the ease in which black people are now being able to get their stories out is now coming to a head with motherfuckers who don't want to hear our stories at all, and also sit at a position of authority where they can kind of diminish our stories and them getting heard. Mm-hmm. So that's, but yeah. I mean, hey, we getting our voices out, but yeah, and we said some of this shit. But then the people who
are the voices always accurate? Because I feel like sometimes, depending on the narrative you're listening to, it's a lot of content, and for the people who are not aware, they do not know how to sift through the content. And I know people are, moving away from like books. I've been going back to books, because sometimes you'll see something and it's like, is it relevant? Has something come out after that? I feel like it's a lot of content via media, and not all of it is always accurate, or it's not sequential historically, so people are having a hard time following. It's a catch-22. It's pros and cons to it.
Yeah.
Having access to all this.
I agree. And then it also always comes back to the point that the people, those in power, are they even listening to the stories? Because we get more of them out, are they even paying attention to those stories?
I was talking to my Swiss friend,
mm-hmm.
and he was talking about watching some Netflix, and I forget which story he was referring to, but he's over in Switzerland. I think may have been on the way over here, watching something. I think it might have been. Don't get me started lying. You know what I'm saying? But it was definitely something black related.
Yeah.
And so I mean, it's there. I think maybe not everybody is, but I think some people are. I think it's a discussion starter.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So I think that's definitely a win from the context if we're looking at 40 years ago to today.
Agreed.
We've had a lot of maybe losses, maybe tied games. That's definitely a win for us so far.
Agreed.
You said a Muslim is one who's committed to do the will of God.
That's correct.
And I am your sister, and did you why she talk like that?
Cause she want that cock. Hey, you can hear the way she talking. Farrakhan, you said a Muslim, and I don't know why she sound like old boy Super. That's what I don't know why she sound like the nigga from that cartoon. But yeah.
Jewish race are committed to do the will of God. You have to fight for us, and you have to fight for 97% of the population, and you're not.
May I respectfully say to you, the Quran teaches us that all those that are Jews or Sabians who believe in Allah in the last day, they have their reward with their Lord. I cannot be against a Jew if that Jew believes in God and practices the principles of righteousness. That's what I believe in. So in that sense, you would be my sister in faith. But now, what about the Palestinians who have lost their homeland, who have lost their lives trying to defend a homeland that is theirs? Some Orthodox Jews say that a Zionist cannot be a Jew and a Jew cannot be a Zionist. So now, is Zionism the real problem and not Jews?
And
what is the problem?
And some Palestinians support Yasser Arafat and some don't. What's the point? Does this mean, therefore, no piece of real estate should ever be granted to them? No piece of real estate should ever be granted or be claimed by Israel?
The real estate that was to be granted to the suffering Jews was to be granted to them on the coming of the Messiah. Those persons that set up the state of Israel were not believers in God. Herzl didn't believe in God. Right. He's not a believer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ben Gurion didn't believe in God. So technically they're not Jews.
All right. Okay.
Hold on.
I just have to, no.
She say Reverend Farrakhan?
Okay. Wow. Now that was the interesting point, though. With Zionism, if Zion is supposed to be something where the Messiah, well, if you're a Christian, you think the Messiah returns. If you're a Jew, you think the Messiah arrives. Mm-hmm. That's when Zion is supposed to be established. But if they are coming just because World War II has ended and a demagogue and Hitler has eradicated a large portion of them, I don't know. Is that faith-based or is that political?
You got me.
Yeah. So I think that's a good question he brought up there.
Oh yeah.
So anyway,
Reverend.
There's no battle and no speech, but I'm sitting here and listening to this, and I'm getting very upset. You are obviously a very erudite, intelligent, learned man, and you're using that to twist facts. What bothers me is not the Jews and the Catholics or anything. What bothers me is your lack of respect. You are in a position of power, and you're using it in a negative way instead of a positive way. Your lack of responsibility bothers me.
I must try here for 1 second.
He may not say this, but here's the disquieting part of this. The nice guys don't have any power. And he has more and more people showing up at more and more rallies saying, I've had it. I've had it. I marched, I sang, we shall overcome, I did all that stuff, and look where I am.
Why are they showing up like this? It is because those in positions of power that were white have misused their trust and their responsibility. I am not misusing power. I'm not advocating that blacks riot. I'm not advocating that they stick up. I'm not advocating that they kill white people. I'm not advocating that they break the law. I'm advocating that we unite and pool our resources to change the conditions under which we live. What is so improper about that responsible use of power?
Okay, what's improper is the fact that you're not saying directly, you didn't say you were going to kill Coleman directly, but by using inflammatory words, you are creating an image. That's the point.
I think you have a responsibility.
The television created the image.
Mr. Farrakhan, I've heard an awful lot about this power movement.
I'm sorry. The 80s were wild. It was a wild time back then.
Would you explain what that means in detail so that the public...
And just a little detail. It's an hour.
Well, POWER is an acronym that stands for People Organized and Working for Economic Rebirth. We do not believe, sir, that black people should continue to depend on whites to do for us what we should be doing for ourselves. We believe that a lot of the responsibility must rest firmly on our own shoulders. We should turn that production power back into our own hands, build our own schools, our own factories, employ our own people. This would make a stronger black people. It would make a stronger America if blacks were allowed to do so.
Is the caller there? Hi.
Yes, I am.
I don't have a lot of time. Go ahead.
Phil?
Yes, ma'am.
I would just like to make a statement in reference to your guest today. He is the most hypocritical call of himself a minister, sitting up there with his bodyguards. If he's so godly and holy, why did he need bodyguards? Also, he was the downfall of Reverend Jesse Jackson with his big mouth.
Well, I thank you for your call, ma'am. The Pope has bodyguards, and he's His Holiness. So if the Pope can have his, and the President can have his, and the mayor can have his, in a society like this, when people disagree with your position, they will take your life. I think it's an act of wisdom on my part to watch while others pray. Now,
put that on a shirt. Watch while others pray.
EY, not AY.
And maybe the title of the show.
Proverbs.
Hey.
Proverbs.
Proverbs.
Watch while others pray.
We got Proverbs, Nicolaitans, chapter 1, book 8. Watch while others pray.
as far as Reverend Jackson is concerned, most whites didn't agree that he didn't have a chance in the beginning. So I could not have been a downfall to a man that you never gave a chance to become a black president of the United States. So my words were used to hurt Reverend Jackson because this country was not ready to see a true rainbow coalition of black, brown, red, yellow, and white people who are interested in changing the political landscape of this country.
And
That's interesting because black, brown, red, purple, pink people came together and we talked about it kind of. I mean, no, you said it. Things got a little worse after the fact.
Right.
Or we perceive them, or it appears that they're getting worse. The political climate in America after Barack Obama served his two terms as president.
Right.
So I mean, we kind of said that the media output, that was a positive. So we see a black president, or a person who, I mean, biracial, but a person who identifies as a black man become president, but we see the political tide turning back. So is that a positive, or are we just breaking even?
That is the question. I think that's got to be a net positive.
Okay.
I think you're definitely taking a step back in the short term, but there will never be a kid that ever goes to the school system without knowing that a black man can be president.
Agreed. I agree.
We just got a black woman on the Supreme Court, even though she recused herself during the most critical case for black folks in 20 years.
In history.
But I mean, that is also. I think representation matters.
Yep. Yeah.
But can I throw a counter out though?
Go on.
If the perception is, a black man has been in the highest position in the land, then does it look like the playing field is truly even?
No. That is the problem that we've had. And I think they said,
people do.
Obama has been president. We've given you your president. Now everything's even. We don't have to continue to try to give reparations or try to give affirmative action to balance the playing field over. This 50 years we've had has been sufficient to make up for the 400 years you had,
So in the longer scheme, and I don't know the answer, I'm just asking for devil's advocate, but, was that time period worth it? Is it going to set us back having that small time period, even though we gained so much in that time period? In the aftermath, we're losing a lot as well.
I mean, go ahead.
In the short term, I don't think this. I think in the long run, I think things are going to bounce back out.
I was going to say that too.
I wouldn't give up the achievements we made in the early 2000s, just because we've had a little bit of turmoil in the late, in the early 2020s, So, I think as a historian, I believe that the long arc of America has been towards a more perfect union. I understand that there's ebbs and flows. There's, the stock market goes up and goes down. We're in a recession in terms of racial justice.
I think it's been that way in the past, but I feel like this is different. And maybe it's because we're living right now that it feels different, but it feels like there's a lot of things happening in the higher levels of the country that are reversing positives, reversing gains, reversing benefits, reversing access to people who had gained that over like many, many, many decades, and now it's being reversed very, very quickly. And I don't see it being reversed in the opposite direction anytime soon.
I believe that once data prove, hopefully they're right. Hopefully we are past the need for quotas and people can be judged on their merit. Hopefully that's the case. I would like to believe that if data is brought forward and we can establish a court system, by getting the right people in office to appoint and to approve, that when you bring the correct data that says, hey, this is what's happened since this situation, we need to re-examine this issue. I'm hopeful that the appropriate action will be taken then. But I mean, I'm thinking that we're close to this issue because it's happening now. And I think historians, we need to sit back and we need to wait 20 years and see what that was about. You know what I'm saying? And so hopefully, I just feel like in the long history, things have always arced towards a more perfect union. Eventually, we probably do need to get rid of quotas eventually. I don't know if we need to get rid of quotas this soon.
Yeah.
But eventually, if we're going to consider ourselves to be, equal Americans, that probably has to happen. They may be jumping the gun, but hopefully we can use data and reason to appeal to the law and say, hey, either it's worked or it is not working, and there needs to be some measures made to, fix the situation.
I think that's true in that kind of case, that data could be used for that, but the reversals of things happening in the school system, for example. So like places where they're like, now we're going to totally change the curriculum, so now we're going to have potentially a generation of kids who don't learn shit. We're going to have schools.
That's also state by state too.
Yeah, it is state by state. But that's
so what I'm saying. If it's state by state, you can accumulate data from one state to the next state and say, hey, how do they? We're going to be taking AP exams, so you can see what the test scores in African American history AP exam for Florida are versus the ones in California, and see, how people are doing, and maybe use that as a metric to say, hey, this is a situation we need to address.
That the people in those states have already made these rules using the data that they think is good. So I don't see that changing to where they're like, oh yeah, I know we said we don't want to teach kids. I know that we said that we're going to teach kids that enslaved people gained benefits in all the jobs that they had. But now 20 years later, we're going to see that those kids now are treating black people the way we wanted them to treat black people, which is like shit. And so now we're just going to keep doing that. Like, I don't know if the data that's going to be collected from the changes that are happening in schools, from the changes that are happening to LGBTQ people and their rights, the changes that are happening to like women in some cases, just all these things. I don't feel like the data that's going to be collected and the people who are collecting that right now are going to be the ones who are going to be like, oh yeah, I guess we were wrong about this.
Well, the people who collect the data are not going to be the ones to do that. I'm saying to you that Harriet Tubman in her day was the one who said, something's wrong and we need to fix it. And then she passed the baton on to Frederick Douglass, who did the same thing. And then Frederick Douglass gave way to Booker T. Washington, and W.B. Du Bois, and Marcus Garvey, up until we get to, Dr. King, Malcolm X. And at some point, they talked about Farrakhan, we talked about Jesse Jackson. Somebody going to have to pick up the baton for these people and continue to beat the drum and say, hey, this is not right. So you're going to have to put it in their face and make them, power is not given, power is taken. And so if right now they have been saying, hey, we are not giving away our power, there's been this reaction and the pendulum swing to reclaim power they felt they were losing since 2008. People are going to have to step up and take the power back. And that's going to be done through legal means. It's going to be done through protest. I don't know. Maybe it's done through separation. Maybe it's done through violence or some extreme measure. But, it ain't going to just happen. People are going to have to step up and do something.
Agree with you both.
I would welcome that. Yes, I would.
You would welcome what? I'm sorry. You would? You would like to see a rainbow.
I would like to see a rainbow coalition, and I would like to see Mr. Farrakhan's bodyguards in it, and I would like to see these
Oh, she wants to see Farrakhan and the bodyguards in it. Oh, yeah.
Jewish ladies in it, and I would like to see it really happen. But I don't think it's going to happen with the rhetoric that you're using. I don't think it's not productive.
And what would you say to the people who say it's not happening when with the people who don't make us angry?
I think it happened. I think Jesse Jackson was making it happen.
You know, let me just a real good example. The Klan membership is apparently, we have a lot of people scared out there. And I mean, they've got kids with the little uniforms and that will get larger if white people don't condemn it.
That's right.
All right.
Right.
Now, in the age at this moment in the history of our republic, with Clarence Pendleton, we don't want any quotas, with everybody claiming to have a brother-in-law who didn't get a job because a black guy got it, with unemployment being as high as it is, in an age like this, it's easier not to say anything.
I happen to be one of the people that say something.
It sounds like you do. But how do you feel about what I'm saying?
I feel there should be quotas, and I feel that I feel that the white race owes the black race a lot. I'm one of these people that feels that that's the way life is. Life is.
Okay.
You pay for the mistakes of your ancestors, and you have to accept it. That is life.
But you are in the minority on that position.
Nevertheless, I mean, where did I come from? Where does my opinion come from? It comes from listening to people like Jesse Jackson, not from listening to people like this guy.
What troubles you most about his rhetoric? What is it that troubles you most?
I think it's counterproductive. He polarizes people instead of bringing them together.
Yes. May I please respond? You know, black folk need to be brought together.
Black people, yes.
We need to be brought together so that our moral voice can be heard in this country. It's wonderful to talk about blacks and whites together, but Jesus said, love your neighbor as yourself. So neighbor love is predicated on self-love. You will agree with me that the black community is destructive of itself. And somebody needs to teach black people to love themselves, to love each other, to come into unity with each other. So, wait just a minute.
And calling Judaism a dirty religion enhances
I never said that. There again, Mr. Donahue, you are repeating the lies that have been told about me. Let me say this. If the white American public had a chance, and this is why I enjoy being on your show, Mr. Donahue, because it does give me a chance to express myself before the American public. You get a chance to hear me and to see me and to reason with me. And if we could set aside what the press has said, you listen to what I say and judge what I say, then will your judgment be the same?
But that's what everybody in power says. If it weren't for the press, all my speeches would be reported in entirety, and you would know what wisdom I have. That is not the way the system is ever going to work.
This system...
Fake news. Mm-hmm. That's fake news.
Fake news.
Yeah. I couldn't agree. Oh, man. Yeah, they always demonize the media. I don't know, man. Farrakhan, I don't know if he's a perfect vessel.
He's not. But
no vessel will be perfect.
No vessel will be perfect, but if you want to be...
But he gets the conversation started.
But if you want to...
Does he get the conversation started? Like, so. That's what she's talking about. He's polarizing. And so if I'm polarized, some people they're not gonna have the conversation with you. They're gonna be disgusted and they're gonna walk the fuck away.
Yep.
And they're gonna play critical race theory and change the laws. I don't know.
There was a really good quote, and I don't know if we're going to get to it. Are we going to play a little bit more of it?
Oh, yeah, we can play a little more.
Okay. But Farrakhan speaks about the language that he uses and how basically white America wants him to use a particular language. And I think it is valid. I think people want to hear a message a certain way so it can be more digestible. But this trauma is nasty, it's dirty, it's ugly, and it's going to turn certain people off. So you're going to lose certain people along the way. But I noticed that when the white woman was talking about Jesse Jackson, Louis Farrakhan smiled because that was a black man that touched her with his message in the way in which she understood and she could ingest it. Mm-hmm. And so I think he found that to be a win. So you're not going to be able to speak everybody's language when you're telling this story of trauma. But as long as you're catching some along the way and challenging some along the way, it may be worth the cause.
I always believed that there was a need for both Martin Luther King and Malcolm X.
Mm-hmm.
Jesse Jackson and Farrakhan, Du Bois and Washington. I felt like you need. I could try to tell you all day politely. Martin Luther King tried to tell you all day politely, and then they assassinated the fuck out of him.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? At some point, maybe you need to hear, hey, you can listen to me, or you can listen to the wolves at the door.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? There's a Black Power movement over here with the Black Panthers stepping up. Go talk to Huey Newton and them. You know what I'm saying? If you don't want to listen to me. And so I think at times, there's room for multiple voices, and I think, you know what I'm saying, they may not be speaking in the same language, they may not be speaking with the same code, they may not be speaking with the same tone. But if you ain't gonna hear one, maybe you hear the other.
Agreed.
So.
We definitely know if the speech don't make a certain race of people feel good, and they definitely don't want to hear it. So I don't feel soft and cuddly.
Is not designed to work like that. It's true.
We'll be back in just a moment.
It's kind of like if you don't want to hear Roger, maybe you'll hear Joe.
Yeah.
Is that how that work? I don't know. Which one's which? Who Malcolm, who Martin? Between us.
I'm just trying to burn it all. I think I'm Bane.
Do you feel in charge?
Your resources and your infrastructure have been very powerful to us. League of Assassins.
I tell y'all one thing, boys. Both of y'all are passionate about y'all's opinions, so.
To 10 meters. Do you think the darkness is your ally?
10 meters speaks with a lovely, lovely voice.
What a lovely, lovely voice. Let's not rest on ceremony, Mr. Anthony Jenkins.
The fire rises.
Okay, I'm pushing play. But shit.
Hi, I'm glad you waited. Go ahead.
Mr. Donahue, at the onset of the show, you inflamed your white audience by describing the men accompanying Reverend Farrakhan as intimidating. They appear to be gentlemanly to me. But anytime a black man speaks out against injustices perpetrated against us by white people, there's something wrong with him. And you've helped to contribute to that attitude by suggesting that these men who are with Reverend Farrakhan are somehow intimidating and
Minister.
Not Reverend.
fierce-looking.
Well, they are intimidating.
No. They're not. No.
You don't think he's intimidating?
No, I do not think they're intimidating. They are doing
Are the Secret Service intimidating?
They certainly don't look.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Are the Secret Service intimidating? Are the police intimidating?
All right.
Well, what kind of society do we live in then?
Yeah, don't miss her point, though. She's saying, so she feels this is a white media attempt to what? Trivialize the guest?
Not only that, if any time a black man speaks out against the injustices perpetrated against us by whites, there's somehow the meaning that they're somehow diminished. What the purpose is diminished by suggesting that these men are they're fearful.
No. We get you, boo.
If I call your attention to the fact, Louis Farrakhan is, as I said, drawing larger and larger crowds, and boy, I'll tell you this, you're getting right up there with all those TV evangelists. You got stuff to sell now, and that's legal here in America. But how do we know you're not a Billy Sunday? And not to mention, we've had an awful lot of terrible things happen in the name of the Lord down through the years, the most recent of which might be entitled the Jim Jones escapade. Now, I'm not here to suggest that you're capable of that kind of behavior, Minister Farrakhan, but you will not be upset with me for saying that folks like you have a responsibility to retain some humility and not presume that you are the possessor of absolute truth, and to reach out, perhaps, for a dialogue, something that your rhetoric does not promote.
I would be very glad to have a dialogue. In fact, I asked for a dialogue with the Jewish leadership of the B'nai B'rith. They denied that. Sir, with all due respect to you, the popes are supposed to be infallible. Yeah. But history tells us they made many, many mistakes and were responsible for a lot of wrongdoing.
Something that's been called to the attention of our audience.
My bad, go ahead.
He's saying he ain't been available for the dialogue. What the fuck is he doing on Donahue?
I don't.
Nigga, that's just Inception, isn't it?
Yeah.
He's having a dialogue, asking him, does he want to have the dialogue? About the dialogue.
About the dialogue.
Know,
I had to look up this Billy Sunday.
I had to look up Jim Jones. You know black people like Kool-Aid.
Yeah, I know Jim Jones. Hey, did you know that it wasn't Kool-Aid? It was Flavor Aid. Little unknown fact.
I've heard that, yes.
Kool-Aid was much more marketable. Book sales. Oh, man. Yeah. No, he was a baseball player who later became an evangelist.
Who was?
Billy Sunday.
Billy Sunday.
Remember, because Donahue said, how we know you're not some Billy Sunday? And I was like,
I mean, I know we've talked about niggas like Kenneth Copeland. What's my guy down in Houston?
I almost said Josh Hawley because he looked like Josh Hawley.
Yeah,
but...
Joel Osteen.
Yeah, Joel Osteen.
Yeah, bro. Like
same difference there, Stuart.
Thank you. Yeah, I was about to say Josh Hawley. That nigga looked like him a little bit.
Same difference. Anyway,
do we think? Does anybody think that Farrakhan is a Joel Osteen?
No. I don't think so.
I mean, I ain't gonna bring that up. I mean, he's had his scandal, but I don't think so.
I don't think he is.
I don't know. I mean, I guess by numbers, you could probably bring up the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
But them motherfuckers live in such decadence, and they just be out front with the bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Kenneth Copeland talking about how he needs his private jets to spread the word. I don't know.
Word. Can't be flying.
Oh man,
I can't be flying business class, getting the word of Jesus out.
Not at all.
No, it's gotta be first class.
It's Joe Osteen. Nigga. Hey, I know it's a hurricane.
Hold on.
Not allowed in here.
You tell little Bobby the reason why he dies because I flew Southwest and I was motherfucking Charlie fucking 60. So
I was too exhausted to pray for him in the way I was accustomed because I had to fly coach.
I flew Frontier, and Frontier you got to pay for your seat. Like as in like you buy a plane ticket, then you got to pay additional for a seat.
And there was bag fees, so
and there was
it's all up to the Lord at that point.
Yeah, praise Him. Anyway, let's go.
When a black person stands up and gathers thousands of black people to listen to him, automatically whites fear. Why do you fear? It is because you feel a guilt. And that guilt is that one day blacks are going to repay whites for the evil that they poured on us. That's why you don't want a black person to be a strong black leader.
Yeah, I'm concerned about a statement you made at the beginning of the show as far as religion goes. Each one that has their own religion...
Go ahead. Yep, I'm back.
Hey, because you want to start the show with Fear of a Black Planet, didn't you?
Nah, that's what it come down to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And motherfuckers like, no, that's not it. That's not it. Nah, nigga, that's it.
Like motherfuckers, we just want a little justice. You know, like Patrice O'Neal had a little skit. He's like, you know what? Fuck reparations. Just say black people ain't gotta pay taxes ever. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just, you know, it's like, and then, you know, niggas in the crowd laughing. White folks say, oh. You know, like, wait, niggas ain't got to pay no taxes. Oh, no.
Hold on.
But the bigger point being, all we want is just a little justice and a little kickback.
Equal justice.
Little kickback. Motherfucker, we don't want to rape you. We don't want to lynch you. We don't want to fucking come and snatch you out your houses, bruh. Be fucking cool, Brian. We're not going to do that. but motherfuckers got that fear in it.
They got that guilt. It's that white guilt.
Yeah.
It's that white guilt.
Follows their God. Why would you even question what a Jew is when they follow their God? The same as you follow your God and I follow mine.
What I'm questioning is not one's right to follow one's God. I'm questioning a practice of injustice that has deprived Palestinians of their homeland and deprived blacks and Indians of justice in the United States. All the people that deprive us claim to be religious.
But you don't promote. Incidentally, you're not alone, as you must know, in your feeling about that agony. You don't promote the possibility of peace by using words like great to describe Hitler. I still can't believe that you in your heart think there's something promoting the general welfare embodied in that kind of rhetoric. I don't think you believe that.
Again. You know, you are an intelligent man, Mr. Donahue. You know the dictionary. You know the word great. You know what it means. You know the colloquial meaning. And the colloquial meaning is not the actual meaning of the word. So when I said Hitler was great, that meant he was consequential. Yeah. And your esteemed writers say that the beginning of political acumen today is the study of Adolf Hitler. I didn't say that. But Mr. Wills said that.
I thank you for the compliment.
I ain't seen Donahue, the way he got back off them ropes. Like, thank you. But anyway, back to what I'm saying. Motherfucker, I broke down what you said about that word great. Donahue.
I mean, that's really a bullshit argument, and he need to get off it.
Yeah, he do. And that's like, nigga, just find out what the word mean. Get out of my face, bro.
Yeah.
And I want. Go ahead. My bad.
Yeah, just grab a dictionary, nigga.
Yeah, grab a dictionary. Matter of fact, you got a cell phone? Go to your Play Store and just type in dictionary. Get you one.
I must say that anybody with your education and abilities and gifts who is consistently, chronically misunderstood by the majority of people is doing so purposely. You are either selling tickets to your next rally, or you are purposely trying to enrage those against whom you feel you have these...
Mr. Donahue, with all due respect, I think that's a rather mischief-making statement in that you accuse the victim of the crime. Now, just a minute. If the press gave an accurate distillation of my words to the American people, I would have nothing to say. But the press misrepresented what I said, and you continue to do the same thing.
I mean, he asked a question. He said, Jesus said, love one another as I have loved you. And in another breath, he says, terrorism is in the eyes of the beholder. I want to know what your idea of terrorism is.
Well, first, let me say this, that, you know, it's easy to...
Man, first let me say this. That thing wrapped around your neck is an act of terrorism. But furthermore...
Well, I mean, to be honest with it, if you ask the British, George Washington was a terrorist. Terrorism in the eyes of the beholder. Some people call it a patriot.
I broke bread with people.
We see this all the time right now. We've got people who are like, oh... those people who shot up that school, we're going to do a GoFundMe because they're heroes. And then other people are like, no, that motherfucker killed a bunch of people. They're terrorists. It's like in this country that's happening right now.
Oh, bitch, you got the posthumous dumb way to die that was in the Capitol hopping through windows. She's the fucking martyr for them. And I say she's the insurrectionist. So there's two sides. There's good people. What Trump said is there's good folks on both sides.
Good folks on, great folks on both sides.
Shit. I broke bread in a small village of Toledo with people who thought everybody was terrorists because the ones in uniforms are shooting them, and the ones that look like them are shooting them too. So they thought everybody's out to kill them. You get the fuck out of my village, everybody. So, yeah.
No, that's right. That's right.
To talk about love. But what is love? If you don't give freedom, justice, and equality, you cannot love. If black people are in America and we've given our sweat and our blood to maintain and build this country and to defend it, and we have not yet acquired real freedom, real justice, real equality, then the hypocrites who continue to say, what is love, or you should love, have not loved themselves.
Over here.
Now,
you wanted to make Sir, hold on.
The program of black people using their resources to rebuild themselves, how can one know more about that and get more involved with that? That's a positive.
Nah, I ain't trying to laugh, but the two niggas who got in the microphone, they trying to get a job, dog. The places where niggas can go to get empowered. Can I get a number? Is there someone that I can talk to?
He's like that little nigga in Malcolm X that showed up in the fucking diner.
Yeah.
I ain't never seen a nigga. I mean a black man.
A black man. The two niggas that asked questions got to the point. What's up with this power, and how can I get in touch with it, nigga?
And you see the diversion. The mic is away from his face.
Yeah.
They rushing on to the next person.
Yeah, that too. Hey, that too. Oh, shit.
I think they should
buy the cassettes, the albums.
They should.
That's all right.
They should call an 800 number 1-800-43 and power, and they'll find out all about how we can pool our resources to change the conditions.
What's the number again?
1-800-43-POWER.
All right.
I would hope that you all would call it.
Yeah.
I was not an ardent supporter of Minister Farrakhan, but in light of the Reagan administration and everything that's been going on in the past 4 or 5 years, to me, Minister Farrakhan has become the castor oil that I think this racist America needs in order to begin to clean us out. Because the problem is, the reason that so much opposition is to what Minister Farrakhan says is because it hits to the core, and he's throwing out some statements that hurt, and people are feeling guilty about him. And what happened
But doesn't it trouble you that he uses other people's oppression? He manipulates it, and through confused rhetoric seems to almost forgive it, when in fact you and I know, and so does he, that those people who were victimized, for example, in the Holocaust, were victimized by the same kind of fear, hatred, and psychotic behavior that you feel has oppressed people of color all these years. Now, why do that? Why use someone else's agony to try and get attention for your own?
Whose language?
No, we're not using someone else's agony. We're using our own agony.
That's right.
Black folk are agonizing in America, not because of Adolf Hitler, but because of Reagan administration, because of former administration's inactivity to solve the problem of justice for black people.
And the other point is that white America wants us to use their language of oppression, and if we talk the way white America feels, then it's okay. But as soon as we start talking from our black perspective, then all of a sudden it's racist.
And do you know why this is, sister? You know why this is? Yeah. Because most whites actually still feel that they're in the position of the slave master, and we're the slave. Just a minute. If that were not so, don't I have the right to invite Mr. Gaddafi or any other African leader? And don't we have the right to listen to what they say, accept or reject what they have to say? Why do I have to apologize to white people for acting as a free black man? I am not your slave.
Put that on the album, nigga. Hey!
Proverbs.
Put that on the album, nigga. I am not your slave. I love it.
Acting as a free black man.
I am not your Negro.
How do you feel? Let me get this one more in. Let me try it. How do you feel about Ronald Reagan?
You know, I feel that Ronald Reagan is a blessing in disguise to black people.
Tell me how. Tell me.
Because Ronald Reagan is one of those winds that will get the dry bones in the valley together. If it were not for government rejection of handouts, blacks would still be looking to white people to do something for us.
That's his position.
Exactly.
And you agree with that?
I agree with that position.
So government
I want to see black people do for themselves.
So all those food stamps, all those food stamp programs, all that do-good stuff, all that New Deal, Great Society, Johnson, Bleeding Heart, liberal government handouts, crippled black people.
Exactly. Exactly.
So did you vote for President Reagan in the last?
No, I did not.
You should have.
I did not vote.
You should have.
I did not. But I feel that the more Mr. Reagan continues these kinds of policies, the more black people will be forced to rely on themselves. It's one thing to say to America, you've been bad to us. All right. But it's another thing to also say on the other side, look at the blessings we've gotten out of America. We have gotten good education. We have $204 billion purchasing power, which we squander away in riotous living. We need to pull together all black leaders around the serious question of getting black folk to use the resources that we have gained in America to better ourselves. And if we did that, Mr. Donahue, the racist attitude of whites in the country would diminish because they would see black people for the first time in a self-respecting position.
And we'll be back in just a minute.
All right. Well, I think that's a good stopping point.
I agree.
It's a good stopping point.
I don't know. What y'all think of, I thought this has been a good exercise in taking a look back. You know, Sankofa experience. You got the bird on your arm or something like that, don't you?
Yes.
Sankofa bird. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good chance to look back and see how far we've come. How far have we come?
I mean, like, obviously, I think there has been progress, right? From 85 to now, I think there is definitely some obvious progress. Because, I mean, hell, even 1995, I was arguing with somebody that wouldn't be a black president in my lifetime.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
I was at the inauguration crying.
Yes.
Like, I was like, I didn't expect this to ever happen. You know what I'm saying? I was real tears were coming down on January 20th of 2009. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and yes, that was a high point for Black America and Black Americans. You know what I'm saying? Because that's progress. So progress is definitely just America. Have we taken some steps back? Of course. But, you know, you look back in history, like we said, there's been ebbs and tides. You know, into slavery didn't necessarily mean that all black people were free. It took time. That's why we celebrate Juneteenth, because things were late and slow. And it doesn't mean that race relations got better. Race relations between blacks and whites were actually better during slavery. It was after slavery was over, and then they got real press. So it's always been ebbs and flows in this. You know, for the same reason
Farrakhan said, because you niggas still think you are master.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah. So, but to answer your question,
so now it's a question about the dynamic. You know, in slavery, it was clear who was on top, who was on bottom. You know, and that's the issue that I think has happened in 2008 going forward. The dynamic has changed. Who is the master? Where's the power lie? You done had you a black president now. I don't like that. We need to change the game and make sure that we don't let that happen again. So maybe we need to stop teaching about slavery and and allow you to think that, you know what I'm saying, your shortcomings are because of you and not because of the history of bullshit that my ancestors did to you. You know.
Could we be seeing the death of something? You know, it's been said time and time again, like the times that an animal is most dangerous is when it's hurt and cornered.
Absolutely.
So are we seeing this? And the numbers just show out that, you know, people of color, or people who are non-white are going to be the majority.
Absolutely.
And I think we're seeing the death throes of a power structure in a society that understands that. Maybe they don't understand, because definitely don't understand. They're not coming to terms with their power is going to go away.
Mm-hmm.
And the numbers alone,
scratching and clawing. They like a motherfucking nigga buried in a casket alive, and they clawing and scratching.
Yeah.
To get out that motherfucker any way they can, even though that latch is firmly locked and they 6 feet of dirt on top of them. You know what I'm saying?
And
they still fight to stay alive even though it's over. You know.
And I definitely hear like I said, I agree with you and Lady Lavender both. I definitely see like, I think it's gonna get ugly. It's gonna get ugly here in our timeline. But I also agree with the historian Joe when it's like it's gonna be our babies who gonna be looking back and looking at the data and saying, yeah, man, and that January 6th shit, they got real ugly. But look at the growth. And maybe that's just the hope for me because I know I have children that may one day have babies, and I'm just hoping that my grandbabies and great grandbabies ain't having a podcast talking about shit is even more fucked up than it was in 2023. So maybe that's just me being hopeful. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, in my opinion, as we mentioned earlier, that things, certain conditions in America is getting worse. And that's because and it's because of the initial power shift towards people that are of color, because of that the people of color are now becoming or will become the new majority, and the white. I think it's more played on white guilt and white, history that they fear that this, overtaking is inevitable.
And I just thought of something else too, because we Joe mentioned the recession that we're in, not only just politically as a society, but also as an economy, and. As far as worldwide, we got a big ass military, but financially, America ain't what America used to be, and it's slowly declining. So you got these two things. It's like these two big ass icebergs or Titanics, however you want to look at it, coming at each other, or a Titanic and iceberg. That the decline of us just as a powerhouse, and these white people in this corner, like we losing all the power. Niggas is out of control, and the world don't respect us either. And we all be alive to see this playing out in a 24-hour news cycle. Shit's crazy.
Devil's advocate. Imagine how scary that is for them to have nothing.
Exactly.
Like imagine you're seeing the downfall of everything. All the lies that you had built yourself upon are now coming out in the open, and you don't have a leg. You don't have anything to stand on. You're not. They're having a crisis. We're watching a crisis occur, and we're seeing people fight for their lives in the most unhealthiest way. I'm not justifying their actions, but when you're dealing with, like you said, an animal is most, what did you say? Like they're more opportune to hurt.
They're dangerous.
When they're injured, we're looking at psychologically injured folks because we're seeing their truth, and now they're realizing that everything that they thought was there to build them up, actually, they would not be who they are if others were not oppressed.
The precursor to Yellowstone is the 1883 show, and they are on westward expansion. And the pit boss is saying to his right hand man, who's a black Union soldier, and he says to him that the scariest thing in this world is the unknown. And I hear that from the white man. But the black man said, nah, you ain't ever been whipped. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I understand there's a psychological thing that's going on, and they're like, oh, my God, this is the scariest thing that they've ever experienced because it is the unknown.
Right.
But to niggas who've been whipped before, there's worse shit to experience. So, toughen up, buttercup. Let's get the shit going.
I think that's the beauty of the trauma. Like, that is how minorities marginalized folks, LGBTQIA women. I think because of all the oppression and all the trauma they've had to experience as a whole, make them more prepared for what's getting ready to occur. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, and I think that ultimately we have to get to a position as Americans. I think white America has to get to a position where they participate in the world. And another thing that that's frequently said in Yellowstone is live on, not live on the land, but like live amongst it. You know what I'm saying? We have to get to a point where we are collaborating with the world, because this America first thing is not going to be sustainable, you know. And so as other countries gain power and influence and sway and are able to gain access to resources because we don't want to participate in the world economy, that's going to make us more and more vulnerable. We have to find a way to coexist with everybody, and right. that's the unknown. That's scary, but there are worse fates. You know what I'm saying?
Agreed.
So, all right. So I mean, I enjoyed it, man. I don't know how y'all felt about it.
I loved it. I loved it. We need to have more things like this.
I did enjoy it.
I really appreciated this.
Y'all need a palate cleanser? Y'all good?
Just I mean, yeah, we cleanse the palate.
Set fire to your hair, poke a stick at a grizzly bear, eat medicine that's out of date, use your private parts as piranha.
Get it.
Don't waste your time.
Hey, y'all know what that is.
Oh
shit.
Y'all know what that is.
Oh, shit.
I mean, we got a little something for you.
No thanks. And close that. Fox 4 reporting, man dies from punching window of Illinois bar after getting kicked out.
I mean, run the music, bro.
Many dumb ways to die. Dumb ways to die.
Beach Park, Illinois. The man died early Monday after punching the window of Illinois bar after getting kicked out. At around 2 a.m., authorities responded to a report of an injured person at a bar located in Beach Park. Following preliminary investigations, authorities believe Jonathan Banks, 32, damn nigga, you 32, so sad, of Chicago, got into a verbal altercation with another person at the bar and was escorted out by security. After being escorted outside, authorities said Banks punched his fist through a window of the bar. He suffered a laceration to his arm and was transported to Vista Medical Center East in critical condition. I don't know why it's so funny. Banks died in the emergency room at the hospital. The coroner's office ruled his death was self-inflicted by sharp force injury.
That's the funny part of it.
Shall we guess the race?
He was Negro.
You think it was a Negro?
No.
Not by a long shot.
I don't think he was a Negro.
It could be.
It's not. My thing, nigga. What?
First off,
what kind of EMT service they got going on in Beach Park, Illinois, where a nigga cut his arm and die?
I don't know how big was fucking gas.
It was probably big.
He might have I'm thinking he cut an artery.
He could have cut an artery, but I'm saying, bruh. Nigga, put a tourniquet on that motherfucker or something.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Hey, I have treated soldiers that had limbs blown off. Nigga, they made it to the house.
Get on that. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
These are true.
You know what? Fuck it. We're gonna do one more.
Many dumb ways to die. Get your toast out with a fork. Do your own electrical work. Teach yourself how to fly.
They should have made this with like little sperm instead.
Hey, hold on.
Wait a minute.
Jonathan Banks is a black man.
God damn it.
Oh.
Okay, well, then my theory was wrong because I thought Jonathan Banks might not get his life insurance, but Jonathan Banks probably didn't have life insurance to begin with just because that's not our thing as minorities, even though it should be. But I was, because the self-inflicted wound, I was like, that his family ain't gonna get no life insurance because it's a self-inflicted wound, but he probably didn't have life insurance to begin with, Mr. Banks.
Let me see. I didn't see it. Oh my God.
There you go again.
You know what? That makes sense. Because a white man wouldn't have died in the ER room. It makes sense.
That's what it is.
It was context clues.
They was waiting on that motherfucking
Good shit,
insurance
10.
clear.
Good shit,
That's
10.
what it was.
You didn't express it, but you probably heard the context clues.
Mm-hmm.
Chicago, Illinois, a suburb of Chicago, Illinois. Nigga probably had some fucking gang bar, got thrown out. The EMTs probably came like 2 hours later. By the end, it was too late. They just threw that nigga at some ER close by, and he died in the ER room.
Exactly.
Damn. All the clues are there. You fucking, you might be nigga Lock Holmes, 10. That's your 10 meters, a.k.a. the diddler, a.k.a. nigga Lock Holmes.
Oh shit.
Too bad we know the race of this one already. Louisiana man drowns after underwater marriage, proposal girlfriend says.
But you know the race of the girlfriend.
I do. Unfortunately, she's in one of the pictures.
Yeah, we do.
Because I did not think she was that. I did not say.
Yeah, so you got an interracial relationship here. A white man proposed to a black woman.
Hey, but hold on, Joe. If I would have read her reply, I'd probably be like, wait a minute. You never got to hear my answer. His girlfriend wrote on Facebook. I'd be like, yeah, she probably black. Some kind of Spanish or something. I don't know, but that's not a white woman.
No, definitely not.
Was she underwater with it? Did her hair get wet?
No.
She was on the other side.
She probably the type of black woman that didn't mind her hair getting wet, though. She probably. But it was in an underwater room.
But he was not in the room.
So she could look out into this I don't know, underground pool.
Yeah.
That he was in.
I don't think it was Was it a pool or was it like a lake or something?
I think it's it's an aquarium. I don't know. It's a place where you can rent a room.
Yeah, I think you might be.
It's like an underwater hotel, some type of shit. I think.
Yeah.
So go ahead and tell the story.
Yeah, a Louisiana man reportedly drowned after he asked his girlfriend to marry him in an underwater proposal. She said in a social media post, "You never emerge from those depths." So I don't know. Oh, my bad. I don't know why I turned into the bitch from Gone with the Wind. I do declare the vapors got him. Anyway,
you trying to write that shit like Toni Morrison or something.
He ain't never gonna breathe again. Breathe again. Breathe again. I should have had that queued up. And I can't stop thinking. Anyway, you never emerged from those depths. You never got to hear my answer. Yes, 1,000,000 times. Yes, I will marry you. His girlfriend. Oh yeah, Kanisha. Yeah,
Kanisha Antoine.
I meet a white woman named Kanisha, nigga. I am running so fast, nigga. So fast.
Oh, Stephen Weber Jr. of Baton Rouge.
Nigga, it will be fucking leaves hitting the ground. I'm gonna hit the. No, yeah. Kanisha Antoine wrote. How you got a nigga last name too? Wrote in an emotional Facebook post on Friday announcing the death. Stephen Weber Jr. of Baton Rouge died after he appeared to swim up to meet Antoinette. She said, Antony, what? Anyway, recorded a proposal.
It's Antoine.
Nigga, it's fucking me up. Antoine, yeah. Recorded, that's the last name?
That's her last name. Yeah, Kanisha Antoine.
I get it.
Hold up. She's recording this nigga dying, though.
Breathe again. And proposal. It could be heard excitedly giggling as whoever put a note on the glass window that read, I can't hold. Nigga, stop. This has to be a parody of some sort.
It's real. Read the shit on the paper. It says, I can't hold my breath long enough to tell you everything I love about you, but everything I love about you, I love more every day. So this nigga wrote this old long-winded ass fucking piece of paper for her to read. You know you had to hold it. Why the fuck you ain't got the scuba gear?
And this nigga put it. And this nigga put it in a Ziploc bag.
Yeah, nigga.
Why didn't he just affix it to the damn window and just got ghost?
He can then be
flip it over.
He can then be seen pulling a ring out of his pocket, and seconds after, seemingly attempts to head back up for air.
And he don't make it.
Eat a 2-week-old unrefrigerated pie. Don't waste your time. So many don't.
Oh, shoot.
I don't understand.
I don't either.
I don't understand.
2020, December 2020. Tim, was you down in Baton Rouge at the time?
December 2020. Yes, I was. I didn't hear about this. No.
Yeah, maybe he was out here diddling, and this nigga Tim hold him down as he tried to get to the surface.
No, they were vacationing in Tanzania.
Yeah.
Oh, they were in Tanzania.
The Manta Resort on Pemba Island in Tanzania.
What is she inside of? And why didn't he just get inside of whatever she was
It's an
inside?
underwater room.
They have an underwater room. So
Why is he outside?
Because he's white.
So he can pull off this stunt.
He thought it was special.
He said, "This is some more shit I can colonize."
He was white. That's why he did it.
I'm gonna colonize this ocean.
It's a dumb way to die. I call it intelligent ways to die.
I like how they said the circumstances of his death said it was accidental were not immediately clear. The nigga had water in his lungs.
Clearly, this nigga couldn't breathe. Clearly, this nigga couldn't breathe.
He didn't have gills. That was why he died. I don't understand why the nigga with the corn cob pipe is over here trying to investigate this. This nigga drowned. All right, one more time before we get out of here.
Don't waste your time. So many don't waste your time.
Ah, shit.
Oh man.
Okay.
I feel like the palate is cleansed.
Yes. It is. Oh man, I'm gonna go to bed smiling.
Yes. This is yeah.
I don't know. Okay, so out of those two, which ones are the dumbest before we get out of here? Out of those two, which one?
The nigga that went in the damn water. That was the stupidest thing.
What was the first one?
The first one was
the Chicago nigga punched the window and bled to death. I think that had more to do with the fact that he was a nigga. And they were just like, we're not going to help you. This white man was like, I can breathe water. I can show you the world.
I can't breathe water when I'm underwater.
This nigga thought he was Sebastian.
Oh no! He now the white slave master of the duck boat nigga. Oh my bad. Anyway, okay.
I don't know. Hey, man, I just know that
that old
of our top 10 like dumb ways to die, 3 of them have to be with being submersed, nigga.
Yes.
Yes, we have a theme running here.
Water and people. God damn, are the stupidest ways to die.
Oh boy. Okay. All right. All right.
Yellow Submarine. And now.
All right. Okay. All right. We gotta get out of here.
Good stuff.
This nigga.
Why would he go underwater?
Did he practice? Did he do stopwatch?
Hey, I don't have a problem with this nigga go underwater, but that long ass letter this nigga was trying to get her to read.
No, but like you said, why not just have an apparatus? They make the single tube joints. You get a little. Why?
Hey man, somebody read that note again, nigga. That's just funny.
It was a front and a back to the note. That's the part killing me. You had to stop and flip it over to get to the "Will you marry me" part, because that's on the back.
I can't hold my breath long enough to tell you everything I love about you. But everything I love about you, I love more every day.
That's so word. That's so wordy. That's so fucking.
You have to flip it over.
The back of the note read, will you please be my wife? Marry me.
What?
Nigga, you could do that shit. Marry me, nigga.
You should have text messaged that shit.
That's what I'm saying.
You never got to hear my answer, his girlfriend wrote on Facebook.
He could have got that PS5 joystick and sent her that.
Ooh. Could have gave her a pearl necklace and said it was from the ocean. Anyway.
There you go. Under the sea.
Boom, boom. Light up is better. Da. You're welcome. All right, let's get out of here for real. Oh shit. Oh man. Okay. That was a good talk. I hope y'all enjoyed our conversation. Hopefully, I don't know. Hopefully things keep getting slowly better with a few minor setbacks.
Hopefully the two fuckeries at the end didn't negate all the intelligent shit we talked about throughout the rest of the episode.
Yeah, we smart, y'all. Doing this show, you have to have some kind of technical savvy. So we somewhat smart, y'all.
A little bit.
People got degrees and shit. Yep. People trust me, but they care while they sleep. That's crazy. Anyway, all right, man. Hey,
ways to die.
That's why I was like, hey, be humming that shit while I'm motherfucking getting intubated. All they see is me. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I'm not an anesthesiologist. This ain't even my job, nigga.
I love how when AC put that fucking story up and asked if it was a duck boat, or no, he asked if it was a dumb way to die, and I just put the fucking gif of the video up, nigga, and everybody doing the fuck out.
Hey, niggas just dancing. My man got bones for feet in that video.
Motherfucking avatar was half cut off in the middle of some shit, charred up, just dancing.
Yeah, that's happening.
I get a chance, check out the music video that goes with that. That's just hilarious.
It will be attached again. Just enjoy it. Enjoy life. Play it for your babies, or your puppies, or if you got white women trapped in the basement, play it for them. It might help them enjoy it. Anyway, Another good show. Thank y'all for y'all time, man. It's been another one. Good one. Miss Honey Buns, Lady Lavender, 10 meters, half of the Brothers of Doom, Joe Jeff, KC Stork here. Triple B. Never, ever, 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 ever miss a moment of break bread with your brothers and sisters. We out.
Break bread with your brothers whenever possible.